Hey loves, welcome back to my channel and welcome if you are new. Today's video is going to be my weeks 21 and 22 pregnancy update. So if you're new here, you may not know, but I am currently 22 weeks pregnant with baby number 2. I have a 14-month-old rainbow baby girl, and this little one is a sweet baby boy who is due on September 1st. So we will see when he comes, but I'm so excited to have one of each. It's gonna be so much fun. They will be around 18 months apart, so it's definitely going to be an adventure. If you are new here and you enjoy videos about pregnancy, motherhood, or just anything related to home and family, day in the life vlogs, I would love to have you stick around. Just click that subscribe button. And for those of you who have been here a while, welcome back. I'm so happy you're here and on this journey with me. So let's go ahead and dive in to my pregnancy update. So like I said, I am currently 22 weeks pregnant. I am almost 23. So this video will be covering what has been happening over these past couple of weeks. And I am doing my pregnancy updates every 2 weeks this time around because I do have a toddler and she keeps me very, very busy. But I do love getting to sit down and update you guys, and it's really just nice to be able to look back on as well. So this week, the baby is the size of a spaghetti squash. So he is definitely growing. I can tell that he's growing because not only is my bump getting bigger, but I can feel him moving all the time, and I can just feel how big he's getting, I guess. I can just feel him very easily. I do have an anterior placenta, and I did have an anterior placenta the first time around, so that does kind of limit what I can feel as far as movements go, but I can still feel him. I feel like my sweet girl was not as active this early on, and I've mentioned this before, but maybe it's just the fact that I'm more in tune with my body this time around, or maybe it's the fact that he's just more active. I'm not sure. So up to this point, I have been sharing baby's development with you based on what I've been reading in my What to Expect book. I forgot to bring that in here today, and I'm not gonna go grab it because my husband is actually getting my sweet girl up from her nap right now, and I just need to continue on with this because we are about to go to the beach. They just reopened the beaches. Don't worry, we are practicing social distancing. But anyway, I just wanted to jump on here and share a few things with you before we head down to the beach. So I'm going to use my Ovia app this time around instead. So during week 22, which is where I currently am, the baby is starting to really just kind of explore and touch anything that he can. So his face, his body, the umbilical cord, just anything like that. It does say that the baby is close to around a pound in weight and that the eyes are still developing. So they don't have their pigment yet. They don't have an eye color, but they are still developing and everything is just moving right along. So anyway, that is pretty much it as far as baby's development this week. Let's go ahead and move on to what I've been experiencing over these past couple of weeks. All right, so I'm gonna use my pregnancy journal. I will link it down below. But last week, during week 21, I was very, very, very tired. I had a lot of fatigue. I felt like the baby might have been going through a growth spurt. I'm not really sure, but I was just really tired. I just felt like I couldn't get enough sleep no matter how early I went to bed. My husband, Chaz, even let me sleep in for like days on end to try to just get more sleep and to catch up while he watched our sweet girl. And you guys, I was just so tired. I just felt like no matter what I did, I just couldn't get enough rest. So I am feeling better this week around, but I did have a lot of fatigue during week 21 as well as heartburn. So heartburn was something that I had with my first little one, and I'm definitely starting to get that again with this one. So we'll see if he has a head full of hair like she did. This pregnancy is honestly flying by, you guys. In my journal, I just kind of wrote about the fact that it's just going by so quickly, that he is moving a lot, and that we are still working on finding a name for him. So I am struggling still with names, you guys. I have a few that I like. And what we did is we kind of listed out, I think we had 5 or 6 names that we listed out on a piece of paper. And we had Eliana, our sweet girl, point to the one that was her brother's name. So the name that we have been thinking of for a long time now, really, even though there have been a couple of things where we're like, well, I don't know, you know, maybe not. But the name that we've been thinking of was on that list. And she pointed to it. So we were like, ooh, oh my gosh, like that was just crazy that she pointed to that specific name. But anyway, just sharing. We thought that was really fun. So we are still working on a name for our sweet boy. Baby boy names are hard, you guys. Like, I don't know what it is. I am just not a huge fan of a lot of baby boy names. I don't know why, and that's just the honest truth. I just love a lot of girl names, but it's really hard for me to hone in on baby boy names that I love that also go with the things that I'm looking for. So for example, there are a couple of E names that we like. So we like Emmett, we like Everett, but we don't want all of our kids to have E names. We want them to each have their own initial. I say we, but it's pretty much me. My husband is just going with whatever I want, and I am super picky, I know. We also can't use, we can, but a lot of baby boy names end with the letter N, and our last name starts with the letter N, so when they are said together, it just doesn't flow. I know some people think that it flows, but in my mind, it just doesn't flow very well. There's one name on our list that ends with the letter N that we like, that we are still kind of contemplating. We really like it. It's just strong. It sounds kind of like a sporty name, which is kind of what we're going for. I don't know. I'm just having a hard time with it, but we're working on it. We'll get there. By the end of this month, that's our goal, is to have baby boy's name set in stone, and just that way we can move past that part and, you know, start planning for other things. So during week 21, I started really starting to crave ice cream again. I craved ice cream with chocolate syrup throughout my pregnancy with Eliana, and I am starting to crave that again. Actually, that has been during both of these past 2 weeks, so 21 and 22. I've just been loving my ice cream, guys. I usually go for Bluebell vanilla with just chocolate syrup, and that is my go-to. It is like the best thing ever. So that has really been my only craving, and it's not like a real craving. It's almost just like, I like to have that when I'm watching Netflix, which by the way, I've been watching Outer Banks, which I really like so far. Let me know if you guys have any other Netflix recommendations right now, but that's what I'm currently watching. So let me know in the comments any suggestions or what you're currently watching and if you love it. I'm almost done with that show, but that's what I've been watching while I eat my ice cream. And then this week, week 22 has gone by so quickly. I can't believe that I'm just now sitting down to film this video, and I'm almost 23 weeks. This week went by so quickly. I wasn't as tired as last week, which was great. I didn't really have the heartburn, but I was very, very hungry. So I did notice that I've been eating a lot more this week. So between last week's tiredness and this week's hunger, I feel like baby boy might be going through a growth spurt, but I'm not sure. Maybe it's just, you know, pregnancy stuff. But that is pretty much it. I just kind of wrote about the fact that we're still deciding on a name. And the big thing for this week, which isn't exactly pregnancy related, but kind of, so I'm gonna mention it, is we found out that there are some changes with our move, which I kind of was expecting. I was expecting it to come up earlier though. So I'm not gonna go into a lot of detail because we don't really wanna share a lot about exactly what we're doing with my husband's job, just because that is an aspect of our lives that we choose to keep more private. But I will say the job that he is kind of going into is something that he has wanted to do for a very long time. So we are super excited. It's going to be great overall for our family. Eventually we'll be able to settle down instead of moving around all the time. But there have been some things that have come up due to the virus going around and everything, that some things have been placed on hold or have been pushed back. So nothing is set in stone yet. I will be doing a separate video giving you guys a moving update once we know more details, I guess. But as for right now, it looks like we will actually be in this house until September, which means baby boy will be born here instead of in North Carolina. So in a way that takes a lot of pressure off of me, because I was worried about, first of all, us moving during the pandemic, trying to find a house, as well as trying to get someone in this house. And then on top of that, trying to make sure I have a pediatrician set up for my sweet girl, because her next appointment is supposed to be when she is 15 months and she's 14 right now. And then on top of that, find myself a doctor who accepts our insurance and that also can get me in as soon as possible, because at 28 weeks, I have to get my RhoGAM shot. So if you're not familiar with RhoGAM, basically it's a shot that you have to have if you are Rh negative. So I have had a miscarriage before, and after I miscarried our first baby, they did some blood work and I am Rh negative. So that means that I have to get this special shot at 28 weeks. They give it to you after you miscarry if you have a miscarriage, if you are Rh negative. And then you have to get it at 28 weeks exactly, I guess. And then possibly when you deliver the baby, if I guess the baby's blood type is positive and you're negative, something like that. I kind of forget, honestly. I feel like I knew more about it when I was like in the thick of it, but that's kind of the gist of everything. So I would have needed to immediately find a doctor right away that could get me in. And right now, you know, there's probably not a lot of doctors accepting new patients. I would also be moving in my 3rd trimester of my pregnancy. And so it was just gonna be really hard. I mean, nothing is set in stone, like I said, but as of right now, it looks like we are actually going to be able to stay here until this baby is born and then move. So yes, that is right. You heard that right. I will be moving with a newborn. Across the states. So that in itself will be a challenge. We will cross that bridge when we get to it. But honestly, you guys, I would much rather do that than have to drive with a 1-year-old in the back seat, being in my 3rd trimester, just very heavily pregnant, while my husband drives a U-Haul and I'm, you know, in the car with her by myself, having to stop to pee every 5 minutes. It just doesn't sound like much fun. So anyway, that's what it is. So this little boy may not have a nursery until after we get settled into the new house after he is born. So it's definitely gonna be a whirlwind. It's gonna be a little crazy, but it's gonna be perfect. And I think that everything happens for a reason. I was not looking forward to really moving at this time, but I thought we were going to have to. And now it kind of takes some of that stress off because I can use the same doctor that delivered Eliana, and I love her so much. I just am so happy about that. He can be delivered at the same hospital, so everything will kind of just be very familiar. I won't have to stress about, you know, insurance and all of that and that was another thing, because of my husband's jobs, things weren't lining up. So we were gonna have to go possibly several months without, you know, some benefits and possibly pay, which was gonna be stressful. So, I mean, you know, you have to be prepared for anything no matter what, which luckily we are, but you just never know. It definitely takes some of that stress off. So I'm hoping that that gets settled here within this next week or so, and I will definitely update you guys as things kind of move along. But baby boy may have the same doctor deliver him as Eliana did, which I think would just be so cool. So honestly, that is all I really have for these past couple of weeks, you guys. It has flown by. I feel like not much has changed, but of course I want to share with you my 22-week belly shot. So let's go ahead and jump over to that now. So here's my belly from the front and from the side. He's definitely growing. I hope we have a name for you soon, little buddy. So thank you guys so much for watching. Again, subscribe if you're new, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.